Mark, again, thanks so much for this chance to talk and tell your story to the world, having diabetes. So I think first we should start is, how it all began. When were you first diagnosed with diabetes?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I was, in my late 50s, thought I was doing well. I had actually retired early and was doing a lot of consulting, nonprofit work, and thought life was good, man. But I started having issues, and it was 2015, 2016 when I was officially diagnosed as pre-diabetic.
Okay.
And I thought I was eating fairly well, a good Adventist diet.
Yeah.
And man, it was a shocker. That was the first real condition that I had been labeled with.
Yeah.
And so it had sort of a shocking effect to me. And I tried to make some changes just by winging it.
Mm-hmm.
And but then in 2022, officially diagnosed as diabetic with a 7.1 A1C.
Yeah, so it's official, and I'm glad you mentioned that because being Adventist, some people watching may not know what an Adventist is, but we tend to highlight the importance of eating vegetarian. Limiting animal products. But obviously, even as a vegetarian, doesn't necessarily mean you're eating healthy.
That's right. Yeah, that was me. I mean, I was pescatarian, still ate fish, but I thought I was avoiding beef and chicken and doing things like that, man. But I still had my potato chip craze and a lot of other things, man, that I thought wouldn't harm me,
Yeah.
And the diabetes woke me up.
It does, and so I think that's something a lot of people can relate with. We tend to think that we're eating pretty healthy, we're doing pretty good, but diabetes has a way of kicking you in the face. So
good reference.
Yeah, did you get started on medicine right away when you were diagnosed? Did the doctor say, okay, let's start you on medicine?
Yeah, pretty much metformin. I did metformin for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had other things going on. Coming out of the pandemic, man, my weight had gone up. I was having, sleep apnea was an issue. I was having these rashes and things that were breaking out on my skin. Mm-hmm. And so, there were things that just let me know that things weren't right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. So, you're saying that you're gaining weight, rashes are showing up on the body. Which makes sense because you can't just treat one disease. The body as a whole, right, has to be treated. So one thing goes off, many things can go off. So did you make any changes at that time? I guess, from being diagnosed with diabetes, a lot of people say, okay, I'm gonna start making some changes. Did you try to clean up things and, as far as lifestyle?
I did, man, but it was token changes, I did cut back on some of my snacking, but I didn't really study it. I just thought I'd drop some things that were obvious.
Yeah.
The one thing I did make a change, I started making smoothies for breakfast, thinking that was healthier, but I was loading it in with pineapple and berries and bananas and fruit, and the sugar, man, was.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought because it was fruit, it must be good.
Yeah.
And so I was making smoothies, and it was making my problem worse.
Yeah. So you're just starting off by thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to drink more smoothies, and that's it.
Yeah. That was pretty much my go-to move, man.
But it's more complicated than that. It definitely is. So we in our program, Diabetes 180, we teach people about low-fat, whole food, plant-based diets. Was that term new to you before we started working together? Is that something you learned at all before?
Yeah, I'd heard, whole food plant-based diets before, but it sounded extreme.
Okay.
And so I sort of kept it out there as sort of something that may be nice to do, but I'll never do that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
I'll just make some other changes. So
Yes.
yeah, I'd heard of it, but I didn't
Mm.
consider.
Okay.
Uh,
So that's interesting because eventually you started working with me, right? We're a whole food plant-based coach.
that's right, man.
So I
Yeah,
guess what got you to the point where you're like, you know what? I'm going to embrace this change and learn more about it.
yeah. Just going to the doctor and seeing my A1C not changing, even with my, the changes I thought I had made.
Hmm.
And I had seen you at an ASI
Hmm.
convention, your booth.
Yeah.
I think I stopped by, talked to you briefly, got some pamphlets, and put it in my bag. And but then I saw you again at another convention, and my frustration with my diabetes not getting better was had increased by that time. And
Mm-hmm.
this second time when I saw you and talked to you, I was like, I'm doing it. I need to do something, man. And
Things will happen. Yeah. Second chance meeting.
yes, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that
So
made the difference, man. I was ready.
okay. Yeah, that's why I like going to those events because it's nice. It's one thing to see somebody on YouTube or on Facebook, but to be able to interact with people. I know we talked, we connect on a lot of things, spiritual, as well. So I think we work really well. We cover a lot of things throughout the 3 months, but what would you say was the most beneficial going through the program of all the things you've learned that you put to practice?
The science, man. I mean, I was so blessed by the training you gave me on the body, on health, on the
Mhm.
things that affect my body, what eating certain things does to your body, what eating different things how it can improve. It was just such a enlightening education, man. I was thrilled to get
Mhm.
the information that you passed on.
Awesome, man. Awesome. That's great, man. Um, so of course you put you didn't just show up. You actually put to practice the things you learned, right? You started putting to practice, and in putting it to practice, what have you accomplished, or what were you able to accomplish?
Yeah, man. I had reached, I lost about 22 pounds from my pandemic high. Um, I also, my energy level went up. Of course, I adopted, not only diet, but exercise. My wife and I now have a trainer. We go to twice a week,
Yes.
and and meal time has become a pleasant adventure. I
Yes.
mean, we had sort of been in a rut, man, of eating the same things, a variety of the same things. But now, we've taken your advice. We're looking for new recipes. Delicious. I mean, I
Yes.
never thought I would enjoy it as much
Yes.
as we do.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, it's been a great change for us, man.
Yeah. I hear that a lot. A lot of people, they think I would never stop eating XYZ, or I would never eat that way.
Yes.
I,
Right.
I, I wish I had, man. If I had 10 cents for every time I heard that, I'd be a millionaire. Because they turn around and they're like, I would never go back to how I ate.
Right.
You just don't know until you try it. So,
Yeah.
um, a last question: what would you? Well, actually, two questions. First off, where do you think you would be had you not made these changes?
I think during our last sessions, I was about to do some international travel.
Mhm.
I think I was on my way to the Philippines, and I had back problems. And the doctors had, made some suggestions, which included surgery. But if I hadn't been involved with your program and saw the progress I was making, I would have just easily chosen that medication, surgery, whatever route, and settled into a life that was much lesser than where
Mhm.
I am now. Um, but because of not only my diet change, the weight loss, and exercise, I was able to um, improve my back situation without even going to a to a
Yes.
chiropractor or
Yeah.
something. I had a good trainer who understood both my health decisions, and he understood the body. He He created a workout regimen that strengthened my lower back, and I never had to go back to the doctor.
Wow.
Never had to go, to chiropractor. I'm stronger now. I'm doing things that I was hiring people to do, a year or two ago. I just telling my wife, I just finished mulching my whole yard and stuff. And I was like, man, last year I would have called somebody to do this, but I actually felt like I could do it and was able to do it, man, with no problems. And,
Wow.
here I am a couple of years older than when I was diagnosed. I'm feeling better now than I did then.
Wow. You're looking good too, man. One diet heals them all. That's what people don't realize. One diet can heal so many things. I'm sure your rashes got better too. You mentioned rashes before.
Yes.
They cleared up. What's your A1C? What was the A1C last time you tested?
6.5.
Okay.
So they said that if I keep the same rate of decrease, I'll be in the pre-diabetic range. I probably am there now. I have another test next month, I believe.
Okay.
And then I'll just continue, man, to get out of this thing.
That's right.
That's my prayer. Yeah.
Last question, man. So obviously there's a lot of people probably in your shoes who would say, I would never eat a whole food plant-based diet. Or maybe they're thinking about working with a coach like Diabetes 180, but they're skeptical, they're hesitant. What would you say, to kind of push them over the fence and encourage them?
Choose your health. Choose yourself, really. There's, two roads diverge into a crowded woods kind of thing.
Yeah.
and you can stand at that point and go the easy route of medication and whatever, or you can actually take charge of yourself, your life, and have a much better experience. And the second thing, I chose to invest in my health instead of in the pharmacy. And I'm telling you, man, that's my advice to people. Just you have a choice. You can either pay for medicine or just pay for health, pay for advice and coaching and a diet change, man, and you get far more. Medication for life or a better life through changing.
Man, I couldn't have said it better myself, man. That was well said. So Mark, again, thanks so much for your time and your sharing your story with the people out there. All right. And of course, continue pressing on that health journey.
Thank you, man. And I'll tell you, Lewis, I thank God for your ministry, man. I mean, it is something that so many people are in need of. And so I will keep you in prayer and encourage you, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
I greatly appreciate it, man. Thank you.